Monsters start attacking on the theme. They begin fighting with the monster. The horseman asks his wife if they have solved it there. The warrior girl says that they have killed all remaining monsters, but the monsters on this road keep coming in waves, and they never stop. On the other side, Leping and little girl Annie are hiding behind Elizabeth. Leping asks Elizabeth if it's safe now and if there are any monsters remaining. Elizabeth turns her head to Leping, visibly angry, and tells him he is a truly terrible actor. The pink-haired girl says to Annie that it's all his fault, pointing out the road he led them to, which is full of monsters along the way. She also mentions that if they had taken his advice, they would have already found the treasure. Elizabeth defends little Annie, saying to the pink-haired girl that the more concentrated the magic, the more monsters naturally gather. She emphasizes that the pink-haired girl should know this is a mage. After hearing this from Elizabeth, the pink-haired girl gets really frustrated. She says that she knows that Elizabeth is a 4-star demon spirit with the ability to defeat the monsters, but she stands by and watches coldly. She also claims that Elizabeth is despicable and doesn't care about anyone. Elizabeth replies that this is their problem and what they agreed upon before leaving, to solve the monsters they encounter. The horseman steps forward and asks the pink-haired girl to calm down, reminding her that they promised to protect them. Hearing this, the pink-haired girl gets even angrier. The horseman turns his head to Elizabeth and says with a nice smile that it's okay. It's his honor to escort Miss Elizabeth. There's a hint of sarcasm as the narrator speculates on the horseman's intentions, wondering how many women he wants in his harem and what he plans to do with them. Anyway, let's get back to our story. After hearing their conversation, the pink-haired girl is really angry, thinking that Elizabeth not only embarrassed him but also dared to seduce the master. The elf girl suggests to the horseman that they rest for a while, emphasizing the need to recover their energy after fighting with monsters for so long. Elizabeth doesn't agree with their idea, stating that she doesn't have extra time to waste on them. The cat girl is frustrated with Elizabeth, asking why, if she's so good, she doesn't just go on by herself. The elf girl agrees, pointing out that if it weren't for them blocking all kinds of monsters, they wouldn't be so relaxed. The horseman steps forward and urges Elizabeth to listen, suggesting that it's better for everyone to rest and recover some energy. He offers some elf potion, explaining that after drinking it, they can recover their status. Leping, curious about the potion, asks Elizabeth if he can try it, making a cute little puppy face and suggesting it might give him some new inspiration for his cooking. Elizabeth thinks that Leping has already enjoyed many good things and wants to experience something ordinary. She gives him permission, and later they set up their camp to get some rest. The pink-haired girl praises Jellia's elf potion, mentioning that it really works, and the warrior girl states that she has finally recovered, though she's unsure how long it will take to find the treasure. The elf girl retrieves a potion from her storage ring and offers it to Elizabeth, calling it her special elf potion that enhances various states. Elizabeth, being powerful, declines, but the horseman intervenes, telling the elf girl not to be rude and instructing her to give a potion to everyone. Unhappily, she tosses a potion to Elizabeth, who catches it but isn't pleased. Elizabeth gives the potion to Leping, who, after tasting it, finds the grassy flavor too strong and decides not to drink it. He offers it to Annie, who thanks him but explains that she hasn't used much magic power, so she doesn't need it. After hearing Leping's criticism of his potion, the elf girl expresses displeasure, deeming it a waste on someone with no magic power. Elizabeth, not pleased with the elf girl's words, dumps the potion into the fire, further infuriating her. She questions Elizabeth about dumping her elf potion, to which Elizabeth coldly responds that she agrees with the elf girl's thoughts, showing no regard for the potions. Leping intervenes, calming everyone down and stating that he has something for everyone that shouldn't be crushed. He retrieves bananas from his bag, expressing his desire to share them. Leping gives a banana to the horseman and distributes bananas to everyone. Finally, he gives an apple to Annie, mentioning that the bananas have all been divided and asking if she can eat an apple. Annie, emotional after receiving the apple, asks if he's really giving it to her, surprising Leping, who thought it was just an apple and sees no need for tears. Annie asks Leping if she can take the apple back to her brother and sister. The orphans in the orphanage haven't eaten fresh fruit for a long time. After hearing Annie's story, Leping understands why she is crying. He tells her that, of course, she can take it back, and he'll pick some more for her when he gets home to send over. Leping promises Annie that everyone in the orphanage can eat fresh fruit. The pink-haired girl throws the banana that Leping gave her, saying she doesn't care about this rotten fruit and doesn't need it. The elf girl also agrees, stating that it can't be compared with her elf potion. The horseman suggests they fill their stomachs for now, and when they get the treasure, he'll treat them to something good. They start eating bananas, and after the first bite, they feel something strange. Their bodies start glowing, and in the next moment, they find themselves in the forest. They ask what place it is, and suddenly, 3 mantises appear and start singing. They ask the group to dance with them, and all 3 of them start dancing. Laping is confused, not knowing what they are doing. This is the effect of the banana. The pink-haired girl and elf girl, who didn't eat the banana, are really surprised. The elf girl asks the horseman what he's doing. 22. In the next moment after eating bananas, the horseman and his wives level up, and they don't understand what's going on. Their magic levels are constantly rising. After seeing their dance performance, Laping is surprised. He claps and calls it a bonfire performance, expressing his genuine liking for it. Laping also mentions that the cultural customs of the other world are really interesting, making it worth coming out to see centaurs dancing. Elizabeth, observing Laping's happiness, thinks that Laping, being aware of the potential danger ahead, enhanced them in advance to continue this game. On the other hand, the elf girl, who didn't eat the banana, is puzzled and asks what's going on. She wonders how their magic levels suddenly skyrocketed so much. Seeing their surprise, Annie explains that it's because they ate Brother Laping's bananas. However, the pink-haired girl doesn't believe Annie's words. She dismisses it, stating it's nonsense and questioning if those broken bananas are soaked in holy water to provide a status boost. The warrior girl says to the pink-haired girl, Jelia, that it was the banana that made them break through in advance. She mentions ascending to a 2-star demon spirit just a few seconds after eating the banana. The cat girl agrees, stating that just after they ate the banana, they entered a new realm. She wonders if the banana was enchanted by a magician of the demon sovereign level. The horseman adds that after eating, even he broke through 3 stages in a row, directly ascending to a 3-star great demon spirit, finding it unbelievable. He asks Laping about the origin of the bananas he gave them. On the other side, Laping is really confused. He doesn't understand the horseman's words. For Laping, these bananas are just ordinary. Getting this reaction from Laping, the horseman asks what's wrong. Laping says nothing, mentioning that being suddenly asked by him, he doesn't know how to answer because they are just ordinary bananas. The horseman is not pleased with Laping's words, thinking it should be a hybrid crop that Laping grew with some magic item. Laping clarifies that he grew these bananas with natural and organic farming, a production method he thought of in this world full of magic. Hearing about the magical banana from their master, the pink-haired girl, and the elf girl decide to eat it to increase their magic levels. After taking a bite, the banana rots, and the pink-haired girl throws it away, saying it's clearly bad. After seeing this, little Annie says it's synchronicity. Elizabeth praises her for knowing what synchronicity is, and Annie mentions that she learned it from the magic books. At the same time, the horseman asks Annie what synchronicity means. Annie explains that the nuns' magic books mention special treasures usually have to be used under special conditions to exert their effects. She guesses that Laping's banana had to be eaten by 3 or more people at the same time to produce an effect. Upon hearing this, the pink-haired girl gets angry at Annie, questioning why she pretends to know things she doesn't. She points out that Elizabeth ate the banana herself, and hers didn't rot. Annie apologizes, admitting she doesn't know either but suggests that unless the user's strength completely surpasses the treasure, it's nothing but an ordinary thing to them. On the other side, Elizabeth eats his banana without any problems and warns Annie not to look at him with those eyes. Annie apologizes, and the elf girl suggests that maybe it's because of his accumulated elf potion over time that produced the effect. The horseman asks Laping if he can share more fruits from his backpack to test if it's real. The elf girl questions if the horseman actually believes their nonsense about the magical banana. Laping happily says that sharing is the greatest joy and starts getting more fruits from his bag. Meanwhile, Elizabeth has already finished eating his banana, snatches Laping's bag, and declares that these are what she's going to eat later. She refuses to give his precious fruits to anyone and tells Laping to leave when they've rested enough because the journey is almost over. Laping apologizes to the horseman and says he will treat him well when he has the chance. The horseman understands the situation and tells Laping to go ahead. He'll catch up with his wives after packing up. Laping is grateful and suggests they set off together, but Elizabeth interrupts, urging him to hurry up or she will leave without him. Laping agrees and asks the horseman to gather up ahead and meet later. Seeing this, the horseman's wives are not happy. The cat girl whispers, suggesting they snatch that backpack away, as they might be hiding something even better. The horseman calms down his wives and says there's no rush, it's not the right time yet. He also mentions that ordinary people wouldn't casually carry such precious treasures, so she's definitely not a simple princess from a remote tribe. Recently, one of the four major powers, the Kingdom of Aristotle, is offering a high reward for information on the missing princess. If he is not mistaken, that princess is right in front of him now. If he can turn the princess into his woman during this opportunity, he can climb the ranks of the Kingdom of Aristotle's power. By then, he'll gain more than just these magical fruits before him. He starts laughing loudly and declares he will conquer Elizabeth and make her one of his harem girls. After seeing the horseman like this, his four wives start praising him, saying a charming pheromone is emanating from the master. They blame themselves, stating they haven't been able to satisfy their master yet. In the depths of the labyrinth, many monsters hide in the shadows. One of them is the Shadow Wolf Leader, a powerful monster who suddenly becomes really scared. In the next moment, we see three individuals entering the cave: Elizabeth, Leping, and little girl Annie. Leping asks Elizabeth about the darkening labyrinth and if there really is an exit. Elizabeth replies that she's already told him the labyrinth is just an appearance, and they're almost there. They start heading deeper into the cave, but little girl Annie is really scared. She asks Leping about something approaching them. Leping asks Annie to explain clearly, but suddenly something approaches them at high speed. After that, smoke covers everyone. When the smoke clears, we see the horseman arriving with his wives. He apologizes for keeping everyone waiting and asks Elizabeth for forgiveness. He also offers to serve them for the rest of the way, suggesting that Elizabeth can even sit on his back. However, he doesn't realize that Elizabeth is a self-independent woman. She tells the horseman to get lost, stating that he's not qualified to be her mount. But you know, guys, I'm fully qualified. Elizabeth can sit on my face, and I will be really happy. Anyway, let's get back to our story. But the elf girl is not really happy. She says Elizabeth is an arrogant woman and asks him not to be shameless when the master gives him face. But in the next moment, his head explodes. Everyone gets really surprised. They don't know what happened. They get really scared. Suddenly, some stones fall from above. When Leping turns his head to the ceiling, he sees many insect monsters. He asks what they are. This monster is a dragon flea, and it is eating the elf girl's head. It jumps from the ceiling and starts attacking Elizabeth. However, it doesn't know who Elizabeth is. Elizabeth's eyes glow red, and in the next moment, the monster explodes. Little girl Annie is really scared. She says they're done. Everyone is going to die. Leping is also scared. He comes to Elizabeth, catches his leg, and says it's a matter of life and death. He asks Elizabeth, what are we going to do now? Elizabeth thought to test human nature, let the selfish and arrogant ones destroy themselves first. This is his first step. There are many monsters attacking with really high speed. The warrior girl gets the carriage and transforms it into a shield. The pink-haired girl starts casting magic, shield transformation, shield blade, and magic shield. She creates a shield barrier and gets the horseman and warrior girl inside the barrier. After seeing them, Leping asks, what about them? The horseman replies that he believes they will find a way by themselves. He thinks this is a good opportunity to find out the strength of Elizabeth. If she doesn't make a move, his servant and that girl will be eaten by the monsters. The warrior girl says, who cares about them now? The cooperation is over. The pink-haired girl says they just stay outside and be bait. But in the next moment, her head gets severed. After seeing the pink-haired girl's head, the warrior girl gets really scared. If the pink-haired girl is killed, the magic barrier she set up disappears, and monsters start attacking them. On the other side, Leping is still hiding behind Elizabeth. But the horseman uses his thunderbolt flash to kill monsters in just one attack. The warrior girl also uses her shield strike and kills the monsters. The cat girl is an assassination type. She uses her short blade technique to kill. But no matter how she kills these monsters, they seem never-ending. If this goes on, they will be exhausted at this rate. When she's thinking, suddenly a monster starts attacking him. Luckily, the horseman saves him after using his clapping thunder backstep. But no matter how many monsters they kill, there seems to be no end to this. After that, Elizabeth says to Leping, see their true colors. Do you still want to continue this adventure game with them? Leping says, forget it. Coming here is to pay back the favor, and as they say, it's time to part ways. But he also thought the outside world is truly unpredictable. Maybe farming in the village suits him better. Elizabeth smiles and thinks, first make them swell, then determine if they have any value worth saving. This is his third step. She asks Leping to get ready to go out. After hearing this, Leping asks, go out. Is there any way? She says to him, just ahead. But in the next moment, a monster approaches and starts attacking little girl Annie. She thinks this is the end of her life, but suddenly, her bunny doll transforms and kills the monster. After killing the monster, he changes again. Little girl Annie doesn't know what happened just now, but before she knows it, Leping asks her to come. After a moment later, Elizabeth reaches the invisible barrier she started casting a magic spell on. After that, the magic barrier disappears, and a really giant door comes out. Leping is really surprised. He says, so the exit is a hidden giant door. The giant door starts opening, and Elizabeth asks them to hurry up and catch up. The horseman is steering Leping, but he doesn't give a thought about him. Leping asks Annie to let's go. After that, they go through the door. On the other side, the horseman and his wives are fighting with monsters. He asks his wives to hurry up and get on his back and hold on. He is really angry, saying they think they can shake us off like this, and starts running to the giant door. After a moment later, they reach the door, but after they see what is inside the door, they get really surprised. The room is filled with gold and jewelries.